Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today in this video we will cover the types of constructor, and in the previous video we will cover the what is constructor and why we need the constructor to use them. So the link of this video in the description box, you can check it out. So let's start now. Types of constructor. First we understand what is constructor, then we jump to the type of constructor. So basically the constructor, we think of a constructor like a blueprint. First instruction means when you create an object in Java, the constructor is the very first piece of code that run. Basically when we create the object, the constructor call, and if we are not create any constructor manually, so basically default constructor, invisible constructor automatically generated or created. So constructor initialize the data and brings your object to life. So in the Java there are three main types of constructor you need to know. So let's break in down. First is the default constructor, second is No-Arg constructor, and third is parametric constructor. So first is default constructor. If you don't write a constructor, Java write one for you, and it is the default constructor when we are not manually create the constructor. When default constructor create or generate and call also, what it does, it initialize instance variable with default value like 0 for integers or null for objects. Key rule, it only exists if you don't define any other constructor yourself or manually. So let's see in this example. In the class is student and it has two parameter, what is string name and integer roll number. So basically when we create this object, this class object, so the default constructor and invisible constructor created, because here we are not manually create any constructor. So what Java generate? Invisible. In this class the default constructor created, which is name and roll number, basically this type. Here we are not create any constructor, so invisible the constructor will be created. So basically this is the default constructor. Second is no argument constructor. This is one you write manually but it does not take any input. Means in this constructor no input we take, no parameter here will be happen. How? In the class car have attribute string brand, and here we create a constructor. One more thing is constructor name and the class name are same, always same, should be same. So basically here public car, here parentheses, and in the parentheses we write brand equal generic brand and print this statement. So basically here we create a constructor. How we define it is constructor? Because the name of the constructor and the class of the class name will be same, and it is the identity to find out the constructor and or the method. Basically the difference between method and constructor is constructor name should be similar, not same to the class name, and method name not the same to the class name. This is, so no argument constructor. Basically we create the class name with constructor, and here we write something else whatever, but not have any parameter pass, and when we call the constructor, not parameter pass and not anything we initialize here, no parameter will be initialized here. So basically this is the no argument constructor. Let's see the constructor example in the VS code. First, in the file we already create the class constructor and the void main. So first we initialize the class. The class will be, we say that car, and in the car we define two attribute, which is string name and second is string color, we say that. So basically this is the class car, and in the class car we simply call the car. So here we create the object, using object we call the car. So car c equal new car. So basically when we create the object, so here default constructor will be created, not call, not output will be created, because here nothing happened but the default constructor created and it is invisible. But in the car, class car, we create a constructor public car, and here not pass any parameter, simply we print system dot out dot print, and we simply print the name, like name of car is, simply we print name of car is Right, simply we write BMW and and color is black. Simply we print that. So when we create this object, okay, let's see what is the output. First we see the output, then check what happened. So basically this is the object. So object, how we create the object, we write the class name and write the object name, and using new keyword we create the object. Again we write the class name. Okay, so let's compile this constructor dot java. Then after compilation we execute the code java constructor dot java. Then see what is the output. So output is name of car is BMW and color is black. Why? Because when this object created, so the car object when created, the so the constructor called. Basically here we are not pass any parameter. So basically we say that this is no argue constructor. We say that third is parameterized constructor. This allow you to pass data into the object at moment of creation. When we call the constructor and we create the object, we pass the parameter or argument like this in the class laptop. We have two attributes, model and price. When the object created, where we initialize two parameter, or we say that when we create the object we pass the two parameters. Why? Because here the constructor created where two parameter available. So if we are not write two parameter when we object created, so the compiler give error. So this is the parameterized constructor where we create this, and when the object created and pass the value. So model assign m, which pass v value, and price assign the value p. And how to call it? So basically how we create the object, that is important point. So first object created will be same to class name, like the class name will be here, then the name of object, anything here will be right. Then we use new keyword and again we write the class name and we pass the value. And in the no argument constructor, where we are not pass this parameter but similar this type. So basically this is the parameter constructor. Let's see the parameter constructor. So how we create parameter constructor? Here we write public car we create, and here we write string and also we write string c, which stands for color. Okay, and we comment out this. First we comment out this and we do this. Okay, and here when the we say that the name equal and we assign, and the color equal c we assign. And after that we say that after that we print also. Here we print, and we also before we assign simply we print here system dot out dot print, and we write name of car is, we simply write and and here we write and color is c, and check what happens. So when we create this object, so this is the non argument, but when we create a constructor with parameters, so here also passes some parameters. So we create the c equal new car and pass what is the BMW and pass the color is black, and see what is the output. And then we see if we are not passed the parameter, so what is the output. So basically the output is name of car is BMW and color is black, but here we are not passed the parameter. Let's check it out. Here if we are not passed the parameter and call the constructor, or we say that when we create the constructor, so it give the error. What is the error? Constructor car in class car cannot be applied to given type, because we create, so required kya hai here? String and found no argument. And similarly here we pass some parameters, but here we are not initialize this. So what is the error also given. So basically that is very important point to notice, that if we are initialize parameter but not pass, and pass but not initialize, so always it give error. So it give error, constructor c cannot be applied to given type because no argument but found string. So basically this give the error. So that is the types of the constructor. So the next video we will cover the constructor overloading, and the video link I'll share in the description box, which is constructor and why we need to use them. So please check it out in the description box. Thank you everyone. If you like my video and understand the video, please subscribe and share the video and comment on the below. Thank you.